Welcome everyone to today's Prairie Public weekly web chat. Today we're talking all about fabulous professional development right here in the great state of North Dakota. And I'm joined by three fabulous ladies to tell you all about it. So Alissa, will you kick us off? Just tell us who you are, where you work, and if you want to do any quick plug of why PD is great, throw that in too.
Yeah. Hi everybody, my name is Alissa Thiele and I am the Marketing and Recruitment Coordinator at Missouri River Educational Cooperative. Obviously, PD is really important to us. That's kind of our game. So we serve schools and we serve students, and so we continuously have upcoming professional development and school improvement initiatives that we are doing, and so I'm excited to kind of show everybody what we've got coming down the pipeline.
Fantastic. And Kristin, where are you joining us from?
Hi, I'm Kristin Krile and I lead the North Dakota Afterschool Network. We are a strategic statewide initiative of Southeast Education Cooperative. And I help plan and organize PD for the out of school time space, but the topics really overlap with school day as well. And PD, I think, it's so important for us to learn from each other, and there's a lot of experts within our state and a lot of opportunities to connect with them.
That's great. And Ann, where are you from? Just tell us about yourself.
Great. Ann Ellefson. I'm with the Department of Public Instruction in the Office of Academic Support. Our office provides a lot of opportunities for students, for parents, teachers, administrators, and we coordinate quite a bit of professional development throughout the department, as well as offer funding for entities such as the Afterschool Network and REAs to provide professional learning across the state. So we're thankful to be here today. Thanks for inviting us.
Of course. I think this is one of the coolest things, and this is something that I don't know, I've only taught in one other state, but I do think this is one of the things that North Dakota has going for it is we all technically represent different agencies, but this is not the first time that I've coordinated or collaborated. I was at the Afterschool Network workshop last March, and I do think that that's one of the benefits that we have going for us in North Dakota is the willingness for different agencies to come together and support each other and do stuff like this. So today's all about celebrating some of the awesome stuff you've got going on. So Alissa, what are you excited about that MREC has available for teachers?
Well, we have, we always have a lot of statewide initiatives such as multi-tiered systems of support. However, we have customized a couple of workshops that we've got coming up. One is struggling readers. We've got Kayla Vandell, who is bringing some strategies that teachers can use to help get their students at the levels that they should be. We've also got a student engagement and a differentiated instruction workshops coming up in February and in March. And then we've got some awesome stuff coming around where we're partnering with Turnaround Arts and North Dakota Council on the Arts. We're doing Intro to Picturing Writing, and then another week where they're doing the same, but it's a deeper dive. Also using calming methods to help with students in the classroom as well. So we've got 3 or 4 workshops coming up this summer in June and July. So we can fill up everybody's calendar.
That would be great. There's a little something. How do people, what's the best way for them to learn more about things that are happening via or in collaboration with MREC?
Yeah, well, we've got our website, which always has everything that we've got coming up, mrecnd.org. We are in the process of merging here. Coming into June, we're going to be changing up. We're merging with Mid-Dakota Educational Cooperative officially. So you might see some changes on the website coming up, but for right now, MRECND.org has all of our events, and then I would recommend that everybody go to our news and events page and click to become on our listserv for our newsletter. And we send out a monthly newsletter that has everything that we could possibly have coming down the pipeline. We explain it, why you should sign up for it, and the registration links are all there as well, so you can get signed up. And is it loading? There we go.
It is loading. Yeah, it was just a little slow for me, but that's my machine. And to be clear, you're located in Mandan. Can
We're
teachers?
Bismarck now.
Oh, you are.
Yep, we moved.
Moving all over the place. Can teachers who aren't in your service area, like for your summer workshops, if I'm a teacher in Fargo or if I'm in Williston or in Bottineau, can I still come to that arts workshop that you were talking about with the North Dakota Council for the Arts?
Yep, it's a statewide. They're statewide events. So you can register using the ESC Works link that it shows up when you click on each event on the side there. And we offer credit for everything that we have cafeteria credit through Valley City. So everything is available for credit, and yeah, and then there's the subscribe to our newsletter, and you can get that to your inbox every month. So
fantastic. And if you don't know this, if you are teaching anywhere in North Dakota and you're not sure which regional education association is your region, you can find that out by just going to the North Dakota Regional Education Association website and find your area, because like Kristin, you're over here near me. I think we're actually only a few blocks away from each other right now, sitting on our separate computers, maybe more than a few blocks, particularly when it's this cold. But you're a subdivision of the Southeast Education Cooperative, correct?
Yeah, we are a statewide initiative. So the services that we provide are for really anybody statewide.
Okay, and so why don't you, since we're right with you talking about being another part of a regional education office, tell us a little bit about some of the specific trainings that are going on for you, and maybe highlight a couple of those things. Like I said, I attended this great, I thought it was amazing, the Afterschool Network workshop last March. It was just a great way for teachers and people who are coordinating those after school services for students that we know are so valuable and so influential in their lives. What do you have coming down the pipe for those after school folks?
Yeah, well, we are still building because the network is relatively new. We started in 2016. We're still building what our menu of professional development services look like. But one thing that we always have is we have a summer learning conference, and that is towards the end of July every year. We're alternating years between Bismarck and Fargo so that we can be more accessible, hopefully, to people throughout the state. And that conference is the only statewide conference in North Dakota that is really geared towards the out-of-school time providers. The topics that we cover are on youth engagement, workforce development. They're all topics that apply also to school day teachers. So anybody is welcome to come. But that conference draws out of school time providers from all over the state. And we also, within the past year, have started a after school quality coaching program. So we just started our third cohort of it. And this program really is for supervisors who support direct service staff who work directly with youth. And we kind of teach them a coaching model and how to support those teachers to really provide the best quality programs for the youth that attend them. And we also have school day instructional coaches that are participating in that as well. So like I said, we're in the middle of a cohort right now, but we will be starting another one of those later this year. And all of our PD is listed on our website. Like you can see right there that we got to save the date for our summer conference. We have a few other events coming up. But we also are tied in with SEEK's calendar on ESC Works. So everything is also on that calendar. All of our trainings, because we do provide trainings and have people that come from the early childhood space, our trainings are Growing Futures approved. So for those people that need it for licensing credits, we can provide that. But then we also work with Valley City State to have continuing ed credits as well.
That's great. And people can also find MREC and SEEK and the Afterschool Network on Facebook, correct? Yep. Like they would be able to, so if you don't want another email in your inbox, because for me, sometimes as a teacher, I taught in West Fargo, and so SEEK was my educational cooperative, and I received their newsletters, but sometimes, depending on the day of the week I received it, it was just another email that was just white noise in and amongst everything else. And then some days it would come in on a day where I wasn't getting a ton of things and I could very delightfully pay attention to it. But if you don't want another thing in your inbox at school, consider following these pages on Facebook so that you still get a few updates and notifications. Like, check out this segue here. I follow both of these pages as well as the North Dakota Department of Public Instruction so that I see the resources on my personal Facebook page that are being posted. And that's my segue to you, Ann.
Awesome. I just had to unmute myself. Thanks. Yes, social media is a great way to follow and to stay connected with what's going on throughout the state. DPI does have a Facebook social media presence as well, and we try to create event sites so you can learn more information for many of our bigger, larger conferences. You'll notice for a lot of our entities, there's some times that we host conferences ourselves, but there are many times that we are collaborators and partners in conferences and events and trainings across the state. Today, I just want to highlight kind of some that are coming up within the next 6 months that are exciting for educators. Some are for principals, some are for teachers. In particular, this spring yet, in February and March, there's new information being shared on ESSA. ESSA is the Every Student Succeeds Act, which had replaced No Child Left Behind, or NCLB. And all schools in North Dakota are required to have an improvement plan. And we use advanced ed services for that improvement plan. So there's some leadership training or training for school leaders and leadership teams in February in particular on that ESSA school improvement plan, what gets put into the online eProof system on advanced ed. For everything I'll be talking about, you can go to the DPI website, and under events, you can find out more information. But they're hosted in Fargo, Dickinson, Bismarck, Jamestown, Minot, Grand Forks, and Devils Lake. So for the most part, our staff really try to hit pockets throughout the state to come to you, especially for a training like this. So you'll see our ESSA continuous improvement on there. Another training that I was asked to highlight is for our state assessment and the preparedness training for the state assessment. This one you aren't going to find on DPI's website, but we partner with Edutech. So it's on the Edutech website. In particular, again, beginning in February, lasting through the first part of March, we will have teams of Edutech people that are there to train for the state assessment preparation. And there's no charge for these conferences, but they'll be traveling to Dickinson and Bismarck, Valley City, Fargo, virtual options, Williston, Minot, Devils Lake, and Grand Forks. So a wide variety of options that you'll find. I know Edutech is a great partner that DPI works with for a lot of their different trainings. All you guys on the calls are great partners, but they are partners that, especially if we have some type of technology delivery and support system, that's who we work with. Leading into another training that's available. Now this one's targeted just to those schools that are targeted or comprehensive. So those that are needing the most support in the state, there's extra training that's available to them on working through the A+ inquiry model, how to use your data to make decisions and have that continuous improvement process informed through database decision making. Those trainings are in April as well. Minot, Dickinson, Bismarck, West Fargo, and Grand Forks, if you are a targeted or a comprehensive school. So Those those trainings, I don't know that they're on the DPI website. We typically post those that are available to everybody there.
Oh,
and
sure.
Kind of like an invite only to those schools. Now, something that is coming up, and it's a save the date in April, the Early Childhood Education Spring Conference is going to be held at the University of Mary on April 4th and 5th. I do not believe that registration information is open yet, but they are getting the dates out there. So that's the Early Childhood Conference through our Office of Early Learning. So that's pretty exciting. And then one that my office specifically is involved in that planning, it's in June 10th through the 13th, and it's NIMSI Laying the Foundation. NIMSI stands for the National Math and Science Initiative, and this is our 5th year that we've offered LTF training. LTF, or Laying the Foundation, is a really solid Tier 1 training for teachers on math, science, English, social studies content. It's 4 days of in-depth professional learning. I see you shaking your head. I believe that you
I attended, even though I have transitioned to this position of I am still an English dork at heart, and I had been excited to attend this training a year and a half ago and then started my new job. So last year, after hearing you talk about this, actually on the Cutting Ed podcast, I went, so if you're looking for another great place to stay inspired with North Dakota teachers, check out the Cutting Ed. I ended up attending it last summer, even though I'm not in the classroom. And it was such a great workshop, 4 days, very intensive, fabulous trainer, great opportunity to talk to English teachers from across the state. And there are other subjects other than just English. But it was also because of this partnership that you have, it was completely free. And that's part of what blew it away for me. It was 4 days of very intense curriculum training that was completely free for me as an educator.
Yes. There is a promo code or a coupon code that you must use. It's on our DPI website where you just were. So you can have access to that. But yeah, it's like a $700 and some registration fee typically, or if you were going to pay. Using that promo code, you can go for free. Now, if you attended last year, you can attend again this year, especially at the middle and high school level. There, per content strand, there are 3 years of training. So really 12 days over the course of 3 years. Now, if you're in elementary school, in grades 3 through 5, there's 2 years of math and science training, as well as 2 years of English social studies training. So really you could attend for 3 or 4 years in a row. We've had some individuals that have attended for all 3 years of English at the high school, and then they said, hey, what now what can I attend, or am I done? And they're welcome to go to middle school. They're welcome to branch into a different content strand. We've had high school social studies teachers attend the English sessions to better understand English standards and how to embed those expectations in their writing samples. So it's a great professional learning opportunity, and it's being hosted in Minot this year. The Minot district offered to host, so it's June 10th through the 13th, and we're really excited to have it back in North Dakota. So mark your calendar and make your hotel reservation, because we're really excited to have that.
It was a great training. It is certainly deep, but I was just I was entranced and so excited. And that's a great suggestion, that even if you don't teach math, science, or English, if you're a different content area, some of the training, particularly the English training, that first year English training, really would cross over. Yes, there are some specific techniques where we're like, oh, what would you do with this specific book? But all of those you would be able to apply to any content area. So as long as you had a flexible hat on, you could really get a lot of ideas for how to take your students deeper into content through that experience.
Most definitely. I think often, we provide a lot of professional learning to our teachers across the state. I think there are a lot of opportunities. But I think, how often do we let them go back into the true content strands? When does that biology teacher get time to practice just doing biology?
Yeah.
And LTF is that. I mean, if you were a biology teacher, you'll do biology for 4 days straight. If you're a chemistry teacher, you will do chemistry. If you're math, you'll be doing algebra or high-level math classes for 4 days straight. So it is, and it gives you different hands-on activities that you can do with your students and in your classroom. So I really appreciate LTF for really helping teachers get back to the roots sometimes of that subject area and their passion for teaching. So definitely check it out if it's something that is a fit for you.
That's fantastic. I like that reminder because you're right. I hear that from teachers, and I certainly felt that. That's why I was so excited as an English teacher. I've done some of the other, I attended several trainings through SEEK, through the different state agencies, but a lot of those were kind of bigger system trainings that I was taking for the school, which were invaluable for myself and for my students. But for my personal passion as an educator, getting back to my content area really just lit a fire under my butt. And then sadly, like I would come home and I have all these ideas, and then I'm not teaching English anymore right now. But it was a great, still like energizer. Yes. Alissa, I'm hopeful that you will also share a little bit with us. Speaking of being energized as an educator, will you just tell us a little bit about EdCamp ND?
Yeah, gosh, we are so excited. It's the second year now for specifically EdCamp ND, and last year it was just in Mayville and in Mandan, and now this year we've added a third site in Dickinson. So it'll be Mayville State again for location 1. Jamestown, was it high school?
It's at the high school.
Yep, Jamestown High School, and then Dickinson has been kind enough to share one of their buildings with us as well. So we're trying to spread out across the state so that we can hit as many teachers as possible. And you know, I know we always try to stick in the middle so it's you know, an equal traveling point for everybody. But I feel like
we're working on getting some places up along Highway 2 as well. So we hope that by next spring, kind of like what Ann was saying, we're trying to make sure that teachers in North Dakota aren't always having to travel, that some of this training is coming closer to your area. And even what Kristin was saying of alternating where the conference is taking place, of trying to make sure that you have access to this training. So we're working on a Highway 2 connection, and we are very hopeful, but we can only grow so much each year. And so we're on year 2 with 3 sites. What was last year was your first ed camp, right?
Yeah. And you know what? All trainings are fabulous, but I must say that seeing the teachers come out of ed camp last year, they were so excited, they were energized, they had new ideas, and it wasn't just, you know, shuffle in, sit down and listen to a presenter. I know that kind of training has its time and its place. However, being able to sit and just collaborate with other teachers who are, you know, that have tried these different initiatives in their classroom, have tried flexible seating or, you know, different technology, and it's worked well for them or it hasn't worked well for them, and to be able to bounce those ideas around and really get honest feedback, or to be able to share that, you know, everybody becomes not only a learner, but also an instructor in their own, you know, right. So it's empowering to the teachers, I feel like, and I'm not an instructor, but so I can only go off of what everybody was saying, but the feedback was pretty fabulous, I thought. So I'm looking forward to I'm hoping that the fire just keeps growing now. It was in its infancy last year. So
and to the teachers of North Dakota's credit, and I don't know if you're finding this with the Laying the Foundations training or some of those things, Ann, I was very impressed because when we surveyed teachers, I think it was 90% of the people who attended had never even heard of an ed camp, let alone attended one. And yet they were out there willing to try this totally new thing. And again, I think that speaks volumes about the energy that we have in education in North Dakota, that teachers are there, they're willing to try new things, they're seeking out new training. And ed camp is very different there's no schedule when the day begins. The teachers who attend ed camp create the schedule based on topics that you want to talk about. So if you want to talk about standards-based grading, that becomes a topic. And there are no preset presenters then, because if we don't have a schedule before the day starts, we can't have presenters lined up. So it's a completely, as an organizer, it was terrifying because you're like, is this going to work? But as a teacher, when I attended, and I had attended 2 ed camps prior to joining the team to host ed camp, and after my first ed camp experience, I went, we have to do this in North Dakota. We have to make this available, because like the laying the foundation training, I felt so empowered and energized learning with and from other teachers. And I agree with you. I went to this amazing Dr. Feldman training that was a whole year training that I attended through SEEK, and it was fabulous. But it's a different type of fabulous, and these ability to network and connect with other teachers who are teaching what I'm teaching and doing what I'm teaching. I think that's the value of the Afterschool Network conference. Go connect with educators who are doing the kinds of after-school programs that you either are doing or you dream of doing, so you can find those kindred spirits within North Dakota. We are right at time where I know we have to say goodbye, at least to Ann. And I know that was a pretty quick whirlwind tour around the state. Any final thoughts? I mean, Ann, I know you have to jump off. So any final thoughts or any plugs for some of the things that you have coming up of just motivation for teachers to get out? Right now, it doesn't feel like any of us want to get outside.
Yeah, when it's below 0 like it has been, I mean, I want to stay here and maybe sleep under my desk tonight. But the reality is that spring is coming, and you know what? We can learn so much from each other. I think oftentimes we feel, or it's perceived, that we need to travel to this out-of-state conference, or we need to attend in different places. There's so much knowledge that we can learn from each other. The Ed Camp and the Unconference that I attended last year, it blew my mind. Like, as an organized type A structure person, I wanted to attend just to see how something like this could be organized. It was amazing. And I think educators, learning from educators, building those trusted relationships with like-minded peers, subject matter experts, either in your district or across your district. We, as a rural state, we really need to figure out how to do that. There are many districts where there's singleton teachers, the one and only math teacher in grades 6 through 12. How can we facilitate those conversations and those learnings? How do we support them in that learning environment? And I think that all entities on the call today really can help. There's a lot out there once you start digging for it. And I think that there's, it gets confusing sometimes that there's so much, but Darcy, I'm putting you on the spot that there's something to share. We have something to share, that you go to the one-stop place for professional learning in North Dakota.
We have a group of different agencies came together to create NorthDakotaPD.com, and there were 2 main goals for this. One, we wanted to make it easier for agencies to be able to kind of see what's going on in North Dakota, who's doing what, where, and kind of be able to say, oh, like there's a whole bunch of stuff happening on this weekend, let's not plan our event. But more importantly for all of you teachers, and this was my goal as a teacher who moved back to North Dakota, having lived up elsewhere. And when I came back to North Dakota, I had no idea where to find out. I didn't know when the fall conference was. I didn't know when anything was happening in North Dakota. So the only professional development that I found out about were opportunities that my principal or superintendent shared with the staff. So I was relying on an outside filter, basically forwarding me information. And a lot of great information came to me, but I do always wonder, like, was everything getting to me? And then also just that volume in my inbox. There were some times where I'm sure I received an email about a great opportunity and then just missed it because of volume of emails. So you can go to NorthDakotaPD.com. Hopefully that web address is easy enough, NorthDakotaPD.com, and you can find Agencies are working slowly. You will not find everything right now. Know that right now in this first year, we're still working out kinks. We're still literally fixing some bugs on the site. It's been up since November, but you can go to the calendar and you can see what's going on in North Dakota. So if you know you have a gap where you know you're available for professional development in June, you could go just to the June portion of the calendar and see. When you are on the calendar, if you hover over the thing, you get a little blurb. You can also see that some dates have more events, so you just click on that day. My device is obviously a little bit slow, and then you can see what is going on this particular day. You can also, if you go back just to the North Dakota website, you can also search for events. So if you are searching for something like you only want events that have credit available, you can filter by credit. You can filter by your content area or focus. You can filter by the target audience, who is it for? Are you an elementary school teacher? Then you can filter and find events that are more targeted toward elementary school teachers. You can also filter by venue of like, where is it happening? And so if you only wanted virtual or online experiences, because you don't want to go outside when it's negative 60 degrees out and you would like some professional development, but you're afraid of the air touching your face, you can learn online. And so you could search just for events that are online, and then this will filter that for you. So again, it is not yet perfect, but if you go through this, you will be able to see a lot of the things that are going on that are happening online that you can scroll through then and get a sense of what's going on in North Dakota. In addition to these larger agencies that we had on the call today, there are tons of smaller agencies. North Dakota Game and Fish provides training that is usually free, and they give stipends to the teachers. The North Dakota Historical Society. There are all kinds of smaller groups that might only do 1 or 2 trainings. And for me as a teacher, I could not go to all of these different websites. It was just too much, and I didn't know where things were. And so my dream as a teacher was like, why isn't there just one website? And now it exists. And we're continuing to smooth the process. We're continuing to make sure that more agencies have access to posting and know about it. So hopefully for you as teachers, you help spread the word. The more teachers who are using it, the more agencies will be able to and willing to post to it. So there is that kind of chicken egg situation as well of use it, and then more people will post to it. As more people post to it, we know it will be easier to use.
Darcy,
so that's great. Yeah, go ahead.
Add real quick, we actually are partnering with Game and Fish here at the end of March. On March 20th, we have a Spice Up Your Classroom, and it is Game and Fish is bringing some of their curriculum that they've put together, and then we also have our Missouri River Teacher Center that's going to have all of the amazing things that the Teacher Center has to offer, that's
fantastic. That's the end of March.
Yep, March 20th. And yeah, it's called Spice Up Your Classroom. And I should add, when you're talking about the REAs, since there are so many of us and we're all over the state, if you go to, when you're on the MREC site, there's a link on that news and events page that takes you to the statewide calendar. And so for the REAs, you can look to see what your PD options are for all 8 REAs by month, and they're color coded because each REA has its own color, and so you can see what statewide events that are available, and those are open to any educators anywhere across the state. But you have to click on it's the statewide calendar, and it has everything that that the REAs have coming up as well. So, and you can see they're kind of color coded So you can see which ones apply to you. And then if you click on the little REA at the top, it'll take you to that statewide page. So you can see what REA is yours and find your trainings by that. So, but everything that you find on this calendar is, you can attend an event in Seek if you live in Dickinson or, you know, however, so.
Yeah. Yes, so things that are only for specific schools aren't on this calendar. So you don't need to worry about that. Like anything that's on one of these calendars or the North Dakota PD calendar, these are things that are for everyone. And so you can see that after school coaching book study that Kristin was talking about, and that cohort has already started. And again, like Alissa said, and I mentioned this earlier, but thanks for this helpful. If you're not sure which Regional Education Association office is yours, you can come here and get a sense and find where you are at in the map so that you can build some connections with that group. And so these two are what Alissa was talking about, are going to be merging and forming that whole little band there in kind of central North Dakota.
Central Regional Education Association is the new name, so.
Even today, I learned new things. Like, I did not realize that the Afterschool Network was so new. Like, what an exciting, like, great program. So if you are someone, and last December on the weekly web chats, I talked to Sarah Medallion up in Minot and some of her after school and before school programs. So if you're looking for that extra bond with your kiddos, I really encourage people to check that out, because there's just, I love that statistic that you have on your homepage, Kristin, that while there are, you know, what is it, 15,000 students currently participating in activities, there's another 20,000 that would love to be in activities. And I know that we do a lot as teachers. We cannot do everything. But if you have a seed of an idea in your head, consider reaching out to that after school network so that you can get some support for that seed, so that we're serving and supporting even more students. I hope that that was accurate, Kristin, as well as, but it was just really exciting hearing all of the different groups last year at your conference. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of the exciting stuff that you guys have going on.
Yeah, thank you for allowing us to share.
All right. Thank you both, ladies, and Ann, who had to hop off. I hope that this was valuable for North Dakota teachers, of just getting a better sense of where to find information. And to echo everything that the panelists have said, there's just so much amazing stuff going on right here in North Dakota. So yes, we need to wait a few more weeks, even just a few more hours, and it's going to be so much warmer than it is this Thursday when we're recording this. But thank you, ladies, for staying inside, warm and safe, and talking to me on our little Zoom link.
It was a pleasure.
And more important,
inviting us.
Oh, you're welcome. And more important, thanks for just creating these opportunities so that the teachers in North Dakota have an abundance of training that they can choose from to continue improving themselves and gaining those connections with other educators across the state. So thank you for what you're doing every single day.
Thanks, Darcy.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time on the weekly web chat.